Hey everyone. So, if you've been studying Spanish for any length of time, you've probably hit that wall where sentences suddenly have these extra little words floating around them, and the translation in your head just kind of stops making sense. Well, today in this explainer, we are going to completely demystify one of the most notoriously tricky concepts in Spanish grammar: reflexive verbs. And don't worry, we're not going to get bogged down in heavy academic jargon. Instead, we're going to rely on crystal clear visual contrasts to show you exactly how this works so you can literally start using it today.
All right, let's dive right in. Today's roadmap is super simple. First up, the core concept. Then, we'll tackle the grammar mechanics. And finally, we'll visualize the daily routine.
Part 1. The core concept. I actually love to think of this as a mirror. On the left side, we've got María se viste. María dresses herself. But on the right, it's María viste a la muñeca. María dresses the doll. Notice the difference? The action is getting dressed in both, sure. But on the left, that tiny little word se, that's our mirror. It takes the action and bounces it right back onto María. She's doing the dressing, and she's receiving it. Now, on the right side, there's absolutely no mirror. The action travels straight outward and lands on a completely different object. In this case, the doll.
So let's officially lock this down. What exactly is a reflexive verb? Basically, it's just a verb where the person performing the action is also the one receiving it. That's it. The action reflects back on the subject. Seriously, keep this idea front and center in your mind as we go through this explainer, because it is literally the master key to making all of this click.
Now, check out how this plays out with everyday chores. On the left, María se lava las manos. María is washing her own hands. The action stays right with her. But look over on the right. María lava el coche, or carro. She's still washing something, but the target, it's the car. Notice how the sentence on the left uses se to show that reflection, right? While the sentence on the right drops it completely because the car is receiving the action, not María.
And honestly, this next comparison is brilliant because it shows how even a comforting action like going to bed totally changes depending on who's receiving it. Over on the left, María se acuesta en la cama. She is putting herself to bed. She's lying down. But on the right, María acuesta la muñeca. She's putting the doll to sleep. It's the exact same root verb, acostar, but adding that se on the left makes it crystal clear that María is the one catching some Z's, not the doll.
Moving right along to part 2, grammar mechanics. Okay, let's take the verb levantar, which just means to lift or to raise. On the left side, we see a totally standard, non-reflexive use. Yo levanto la silla. I lift the chair. The chair is the physical thing being lifted, right? But how do we say we're getting out of bed? Well, we use a reflexive pronoun. Look at the right side. Yo me levanto a las 6 a.m. Literally, that translates to I lift myself up at 6 a.m., which we understand as I wake up or I get up. That little word me is our mirror here, showing that you're lifting yourself out of bed. Now, to actually use this in real life for everyone, we need to map out the pronouns. Let's walk through this table together. You can kind of think of a reflexive pronoun like a perfectly tailored suit. It has to seamlessly match the subject wearing it. So if the subject is yo, I, the pronoun is me. Yo me levanto temprano. For tú, the informal you, it pairs up with te. Tú te levantas. For él, ella, or usted, he, she, or formal you use se levanta. Heading over to the plural side, nosotros, we, gets matched with nos. Nosotros nos levantamos. And to wrap it up, for ellos, ellas, or ustedes, they or you all, it bounces back to se levantan. Make sense? The pronoun just changes in perfect lockstep with whoever's doing the action.
Let's bring this to life in part 3, visualizing the routine.
Take a look at this classic morning to evening routine laid out with the clock times. What you'll probably realize right away is just how heavily our daily schedules rely on these reflexive actions. When you really think about it, almost everything we do to get ready in the morning or wind down at night, they're all actions we're performing on ourselves. So let's pull a few specific examples from that timeline. At 7 a.m., the alarm goes off, right? The verb is despertarse, to wake oneself up. By 8 a.m., she's in the shower. That's bañarse, to bathe oneself. And then, when night rolls around, we circle back to the verb we saw just a minute ago, acostarse, to put oneself to bed. Notice a pattern here? All of these infinitives end in se. That is a massive clue right there, signaling that these are reflexive verbs and they absolutely need to be conjugated with those tailored pronouns we just went over. Let's rapid fire a few more essential daily routine verbs that demand these reflexive pronouns. Just picture your own morning. Cepillarse los dientes, brushing your teeth. Peinarse, combing your hair. Lavarse la cara, washing your face. And vestirse, getting dressed. You're brushing, combing, washing, and dressing yourself. The action always reflects straight back to you.
Real quick before we wrap up today, the fantastic grammar examples and illustrations we use to break this down come from Superación Idiomática via Idiomas Cuba. It's always super helpful to have such clear, practical source material to learn from. And that brings us to the end of this explainer. But hey, I'm not letting you off the hook quite yet. The absolute best way to cement a new grammar concept is to immediately apply it to your own life. So here's my question for you. ¿A qué hora te levantas? What time do you wake up? Try constructing your answer in your head right now. Make sure you use the right pronoun and the right verb ending. Keep practicing, keep applying it, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.